Hey there, all you cool, epic, awesome listeners and loyal fans. Welcome. You're now listening to episode 19 of the Cool, Epic, Awesome podcast. I am Matt, your co host.
I'm your other co-host, Joe.
And today we have a pretty big episode. We're going to be talking about Creed 3 to start, and then we'll get into Scream 6. Let's go over some movie news. The Oscars are tonight,
Yeah.
so maybe we'll give our predictions for that. And
We found out we could have placed a parlay
yeah,
yesterday.
we wanted to bet on the Oscars because you can you can bet on the winners because they have like gambling odds, but only in Jersey and like other states. You can't do it in New York, so we could have hit a sick parlay on that,
Yeah.
but maybe next year.
Yeah.
Um. Anyways, and then yeah, at the end we'll wrap it up with Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah.
So
Classic.
yeah, to start things off, let's get into Creed 3. So I have only seen Creed 2 before this. I never saw the first. I know you rewatched them, Joe, right? Or you watched them for the
We
first
didn't see
time.
the first?
Nah, I never watched the first.
Oh. Yeah, I watched I haven't seen any of them before, but I watched one and two prior to seeing this one. I mean, they're all really good. Not
Yeah, I just
like
wanted to preface it so that people know I haven't seen the other two. It might
yeah.
affect how I feel about this. But
Um yeah, honestly, for me it probably makes it I'll get into it after, but watching the other two prior makes this one a little bit worse, and I'll explain why, as we get into the movie.
all right. Yeah, but to give a synopsis, so basically at this point in Adonis Creed's career, he's retired and he's trying to train the next generation of fighters. He has this prospect that he wants to train. And it's revealed that he had this really good friend from when he was younger who was one of the best boxers in the country. And he ended up getting arrested when he was a kid. And Creed kind of never checked up on him. And in this movie, his friend gets released and comes back and wants to box again. And they end up clashing and they end up fighting at the end. Creed comes out of
Yeah.
retirement. So overall, what are your thoughts? Because compared to the other two that you watched so recently.
So story-wise, I feel like this one may have been the weakest, but in terms of directorial wise, I mean that was my biggest takeaway from the movie was I loved a lot of the shots and the style and the way. I think Michael B. Jordan's gonna be a fantastic director. And I think I want to do more projects in the future. But a lot of my problems with it come with the story itself. And I don't know how you feel, especially with the character of Dame. What did you think about them making him more angry at Creed than coming out and being I don't know. I don't know the term, but not as angry with him.
I mean, it makes sense for him to be bitter because in his eyes, he was best friends with Adonis his whole life, and
Yeah.
he had been writing to him while he was in jail, and Adonis's mother or adopted mother was holding the letters and not giving them to him. So Dame is thinking that, oh, I'm writing to who's supposed to be my best friend for all these years, and he's not even checking up on me.
No,
When
I agree that he's right and why he's angry at him. But one thing I feel I wish that they would have done with the movie is make more of this movie about Creed mentoring Dame, his own. I wish they would have made him become his coach, and the movie would have just followed them too, as opposed to them eventually fighting with each other. Because I feel like it would have been a cool friendship for them to build, to rebuild over the course of the movie.
Yeah, and I had some issues with Dame's characterization. There were certain things that I feel didn't make sense for him to do. Like I I I would have preferred if he got out of jail and then in his big fight with Adonis's the kid that he's mentoring,
Yeah,
if he just had a clean fight and just fucked him up, just
yeah,
beat the shit
yeah.
out of him. But instead they made him fight dirty.
Dirty,
He
yeah,
elbowed him and he was doing all this dirty stuff. I feel like that wasn't necessary. He would have been more of a threat if you could see just how good of a boxer he actually is.
yeah. I agree.
But I think that the reason why they did that, because I heard that when were doing test screenings for the movie,
Mhm.
people love the movie and it was like the first time in a Rocky franchise movie that you were rooting for the villain to win. And I think that after those responses, they wanted to make Dame seem like more of a dick.
there.
So they might have wrote that in that he was fought dirty and he was
I
an
don't know
asshole and all
why they
this.
would make like I feel like that takes away from the story.
Yeah, I would have preferred if they just made him a great boxer
I
instead
agree.
of
Yeah.
winning by, doing this like aiming
By
for the guy's
fighting cheap.
arm
Yeah.
and being cheap. It sort of takes away from his character.
Yeah. I don't.
Um,
Um.
you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. One thing also I wanted to point out, but you didn't notice this part because you haven't watched the other ones, but Rocky's not in this one, which is it kind of feels very weird at times, especially when like Creed's mother dies and like Rocky's literally been like probably his closest. He's trained him the first two movies and like he's close with him, and then like he just doesn't show up at like his mother's. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't make any sense. Like it felt very weird for him not to be in the movie.
Yeah. And I know the reason why Sylvester Stallone's not in it is because I was curious. So I was looking into it. Apparently, he had issues with the script and he clashed with the producer a
Yeah,
bit. So he just decided to step away. It wasn't about money, it was about like creative
creative
differences.
differences. Yeah,
Um, which I
I
get,
heard.
but I don't
I
know.
heard like part of it was like you know how they're trying to build this like Creed verse or
Mhm.
whatever that he
Yeah.
wanted no part of that. Which I mean,
I guess that is kind of selfish in a way because he wants like I guess he didn't want the spotlight to go off of Rocky, you know.
yeah. I mean, I don't know how successful this like verse will be, but
Well, didn't I think this movie had like the biggest opening for any sports movie ever?
yeah, it did, and it was the highest I think for the Rocky franchise too.
The highest grossing.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, so it was successful in that aspect. I know after the movie came out, they announced after it had done well, they announced that they're gonna go more into this. Michael B. Jordan's he's gonna be producing an anime series,
anime. Yeah,
right? And I know
that I'm interested in.
he had talked a lot about how his style of directing was influenced by anime. And I don't know if you picked up on anything in the film that
Yeah, definitely in a lot of the fight scenes. I just feel like that these fight scenes and how did you feel about the fight scenes in this movie as opposed to in the second one? Like, what was your opinion on it?
So I've seen Creed 2 like a long time ago. The only reason why I
Mhm.
watched it was because in high school, for some reason, my basketball team, our coach took us to the movies to go watch it. But it was just like I was there with all my friends, like we were messing around, and that was before I
Yeah.
even like cared about movies at all. So I don't remember it too much. But after Creed 3 came out, I went back and watched the original Rocky, which is I think is a way better movie, but that's besides the point. And I thought that the thing that I liked about Rocky is the fight scenes are very grounded. Like it's just two people fighting. There's no like extra stuff. It's just like boxing. In Creed 3, a lot of it feels like otherworldly kind of when especially at the end when they're in this like imaginary fight
In his head.
scene. It's like I understand what he was going for. I get how it's supposed to be. The only thing that they see and care about is like each other and fighting each other. So like the crowd disappears and it's all black around them. But then when you have like that jail cell come down, it just felt like they were doing too much with it.
See, I
Like
disagree. I completely disagree. Like, I thought creatively, I really like that because
is that some I know in anime, I think they do that a lot like with
I
the
mean,
fights where cuz when he was talking about it, he was saying that when Michael B. Jordan was talking about it, he was saying that Um,
it's
the
more
fight
like
scenes are more like those two people connecting, just them two through like combat. So that's why the whole like audience like
yeah,
doesn't matter.
but
It's blacked
I
out,
feel like
whatever.
his anime influence was more based off like the shots in the fight scenes, specifically, like for example, the first fight scene, um, like the way they show what's the name of the guy he fights?
I forget who he
Um,
fights in the first scene.
whatever the first guy he fights.
Yeah,
there's a shot, like, they'll show a shot of, like, his flank area, and, like, they'll show Michael B. Jordan, like, look like, I don't you know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah, I didn't like that though. I feel like it kind of showed Creed as having like this extra sense that he could like slow down time and like see where his weak spot
see,
was.
I disagree. I feel like it makes the fight way more exciting.
All right, I mean, I guess we'll just agree to disagree on that. I don't, I'm
Because in my opinion, yes, the Creed fights and old fights like that are good, but I feel like this adds something new to it. It makes it like more because how many times in a box like for boxing fights can you is it going to get any different? You know what I mean? It's pretty
yeah,
similar.
yeah, you're right, you're right. Like I understand it. Um, and I'm not like I didn't hate it. I just would have preferred if it was a more
Agreed.
traditional, you know.
Yeah, it
But
felt like an anime fight in
yeah,
moments.
and I wouldn't know. I don't be watching it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just like a nitpick, really. Um, and there isn't a lot of fighting in the movie. There's only actually compared to the first Rocky, there's more, but like in general, there's not a lot of fighting. There's two big fights really in the movie, which is
It
Dame versus the
the first
the
fighter.
champion guy, and then
Actually, no, there is a decent amount of fights.
well, actually, yeah. Now that I was
Now
thinking
that I'm
about it,
thinking about it, yeah, like there's that first fight in the beginning. Then um
there's a lot of like training when
there's
Dame like spars with
well,
people.
there's a ton of spar. I'm not even counting those. Then there's Dame versus that guy.
Yeah,
Um, then doesn't Dame fight someone else again?
nah, he doesn't. Creed, excuse me, Creed spars with Drago again.
Yeah,
Those little sparring matches were kind of cool. Also, I forgot about this. Another example of Dame being like a complete asshole is when he hired people from his jail to go break the guy's hand.
yeah. I thought that was so fucking stupid.
That yeah, I just don't like how they
I did not. I thought that was so cliche and so on the note. Like I really did not like that.
yeah. But also all
What did
this
you think?
I didn't like that either. Again, I just didn't like how they characterized him. They should have made because based on their history, like it didn't seem like he was really a troublemaker when he was younger.
No.
Like Adonis was the one who started the fight that ended up getting Dame arrested.
Yeah.
So I guess those years in jail made him like different or something. But I didn't like how much of a dick he was. I would have liked if he was at least a bit more humble.
I guess just from prison, he got. I don't know.
Yeah. But no, I wanted to talk about Jonathan Major's performance as Dame. First of all, he's fucking huge.
Yeah.
He's
He's a
actually
unit.
he's way bigger
He's a
than
unit in the movie.
I think he stole the show from Michael B. Jordan. I
I
think
thought they
his
were pretty good co-leads. I feel like they balanced each other out pretty well.
yeah. No, and I had said something in my review for the movie. His performance here got me more excited for Kang than the performance of Kang in Ant-Man. He was way more
Yeah.
menacing in this. Maybe he's a Kang variant.
I mean, to be fair, he's also like it's boxing. It's pretty intimidating. Like it's designed to be intimidating as opposed to like a giant CGI fight.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, Jonathan Majors is actually phenomenal in what I've been seeing from him recently.
Yeah. I
It
kind
is
of
pretty
want to
crazy.
start watching more stuff of his.
He
Is he
has
in that
that.
thing Concrete Cowboy?
I don't know if that's what it's called, but he has some Western movie that he's in. I don't think it's called Concrete Cowboy. I think it's something else.
What is that? Oh, that's what Idris Elba, right?
Yeah, yeah. It might be called The Harder They Fall or something. I'll check really quick. Yeah, but he's
Yeah,
like
I'm
one of
looking.
he's one of the hottest actors in Hollywood right now. Yeah, it's called The Harder They Fall. And that just shows you what Marvel does. Once that's why all these actors are trying to get roles with Marvel. Once you get cast as a big Marvel role, you'll start
Yeah.
appearing in more shit. But Dame was my favorite character, and I think just because of the performance of Jonathan Majors.
Yeah,
What do you, what do you think? Was
I
he your
I
favorite
I mean,
also?
yeah, Dame was probably my favorite character. I agree.
What did you?
He's
So wait, since I don't remember the first and second movie, what is the deal with his daughter? She has like
she's she's
she's
deaf.
but doesn't Tessa Thompson's character she has some sort of hearing
She
thing
has
too,
like a
right?
hearing impairment.
So it's like genetic or whatever.
Yeah, it's a genetic thing. Like in the
I see.
second one, they find out she's deaf.
Yeah, I see. Okay. Yeah, I thought Tessa Thompson was pretty good too.
No, they're
Well,
they're good. They have a lot of chemistry. They have good chemistry on screen.
yeah, most of the cast was good,
Yeah,
but there's not really a lot of major players besides them.
yeah. I want to see. I'd love to see them in more projects together.
hmm It's funny because all three of those the big three are all from Marvel. Not
Yeah.
from Marvel, but they all have roles in Marvel films, which is kind of funny. Um,
There's another movie that's apparently coming out this year called Magazine Dreams.
yeah,
Like
I've
it's
heard
like a
about that.
bodybuilder one.
I heard about that. Yeah, I know it's with Jonathan Majors. Apparently, it's going to
Yeah.
be an awards contender. So whenever that drops, I'll see it for sure. You said did you have a favorite scene that stuck out to you really or
Um, there's a couple. I mean, there's one like when they both walk out for the fight. Um, when Dame's first fight, like there's a shot where they're both walking like in opposite sides of the hallway, and like the lighting of the shot. Do you know what I'm talking about?
yeah, I was gonna say that one also. That's like a really cool shot because it looks good and like means a lot, you
Yeah, there's
know.
a lot of meaning behind it. Um, I mean that I liked. I mean a lot. There's like scenes in the last fight where there's like references to some anime fights that I enjoyed.
One where they both punch each other at the same
Yeah,
time.
that's a big one. There's like a lot of Dragon Ball Z. I don't watch that, but like this, even like me not watching the show, there was even references to the show that I picked up on. There's
Yeah,
even like a Naruto poster in the beginning of this in the movie.
yeah. I think someone was saying that when that takes place, like Naruto hadn't even
Uh,
released yet or something. Just it doesn't really matter, but it's just funny.
yeah,
I liked the throwback scenes though when he was a kid.
yeah. No, I enjoyed them too.
I thought those actors were both good. The younger
The younger ones,
Adonis
yeah.
and Dame. But I think my favorite scene might have I was gonna say that one where they're facing each other, but I kind of liked not really a scene, but just like the whole montage of Adonis training to get back into shape and get ready when he had to like refight
Yeah,
Drago and he was like knocked down and then he gets back up and he's still gonna fight after. I thought that was a that's like a classic Rocky like boxing kind of
yeah.
thing. Um, but yeah, that I don't know. Uh, it's not that I didn't like the movie because I did. I thought it was really good, but people are really overhyping it. I think like a lot of people on Letterboxd are
I
giving it like
mean, but I
four
feel
and
like
a
all the
half, and
praises of the movie are about like the direct, like about
his
the
like
direct.
his
Yeah,
style. Yeah.
because my all my grices with the movie are about the plot.
Oh, your what
Like
now? Your gripes?
all my yeah, whatever. Um,
I got what you
like,
were saying.
um, all my issues with the plot,
Yeah. I don't it's not that you could
like
tell that
story
Michael B.
decisions and
Jordan is a little bit unpolished as a director, obviously because it's his
first
directorial
pro yeah, I
debut.
mean, it's a pretty major, like, IP to be doing as your first project, you know?
Yeah, and it's not like he's taken over for a chump. Like he's taken over for Ryan Coogler, who's a great director.
Yeah.
So he had big shoes to fill there.
Would you want him to direct a Black Panther movie?
I don't know. I think Ryan Coogler has had a lot of success with it, and if he's asked to come back, which he most likely will, I
No,
don't.
he's probably gonna come back, but I'm just like
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Michael B. Jordan direct something with Marvel. I think that
I'd love to see him do a more some franchise where there's like the fight scenes are more I don't know, not
outlandish or
sci-fi. Yeah, yeah,
just to see what he would do with it.
yeah. Because look
Yeah.
how he made these fights look,
Yeah, I mean,
and they're the most grounded fight scenes
well, here's the
since
thing.
boxing.
If he
Well,
does want to direct more, he'll be able to because this
yeah,
movie
no,
made money.
he's gonna get.
It was
I mean,
financially and critically well acclaimed.
he's gonna have his hands full now with. I mean, he's gonna be doing Creed 4.
You think so? Are
He
they doing
said
Creed 4?
they said it already.
Did they? I
He
thought they
said like in an interview, he said like he just asked him, "Oh, like, are we gonna see you direct in the future?" About Creed 4. He's like, "Yeah, like definitely Creed 4." And he's like, "Oh, we have some other stuff like we're working on." And he's
what the
like,
fuck are they gonna
he's
do for 4?
that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
I don't
Did
know.
you
Where
see
do
like
you
the
go where do
plans
you
they
go
have?
with I saw their other stuff, but I thought they were doing spin-offs. I saw they were gonna do a project focused on his daughter, which they were clearly alluding to that.
I don't even
Um,
like. I don't. I don't even wouldn't even like. I feel like I have no investment in that unless she's like older and she starts to
yeah, no,
become
no,
like.
it would have to be like when she's older
Are you
because
sure?
what are they gonna do? Make it about a fucking 12-year-old boxing?
You'd be surprised, dude.
I don't know. And I saw some like pretty cool fan casting of the girl who plays Makari in the Eternals. She's deaf also. They wanted her
Yeah,
to play like an older version of the girl.
yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
But I
I'm
just feel
interested to
like
see what the anime would be like.
it'll probably be cool. Very stylized, like I would assume. And but I don't know if it's gonna be canon to like the Creed universe.
Probably,
When does it
and
get to the point where it's like they're just money grabbing? You know, like does everything have to be a universe?
for them,
Yeah,
I mean,
because they said they're gonna do a Creed TV series, the
they
Creed
are
anime. Yeah, that's what it. Let me pull up the tweet that had all the stuff.
a Creed TV show. I saw the anime. I saw um the project with his daughter. I saw Creed 4.
It says Michael B. Jordan had meetings with Amazon regarding Creed spin-offs, including an anime and a companion live-action series. Plus, it didn't say it in the tweet, but I also saw that they're gonna do a project about his daughter
His daughter, I heard, but like, what are they gonna do for it? I
for the
just,
T. I don't know.
I'd rather them tell other like stories of other fighters inside the Creed like world
Yeah,
than
maybe
tell.
they could do like a
Like, I'm
Dame
okay if that's
spin-off,
what they mean with like Creed verse. I'm perfectly okay with that.
fighters within the universe.
Yeah, yeah. Like if they just have like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, if they, I would be interested to see what happens with Dame after this, because he is obviously a great boxer, but can he like redeem himself? And
Yeah, and I'm sure they're gonna want to make a project with Jonathan Majors.
yeah, he seems to be booked though.
Yeah,
I know he's playing Dennis Rodman in something upcoming.
I mean he has Secret Wars, Kang
Well, yeah,
Dynasty.
just with Marvel, he's gonna be booked
I mean, with
because he's
Marvel alone, like God knows what other projects he's gonna be popping up into. Like we have no idea.
yeah.
So
What do you think overall about the Creed trilogy?
I thought it was really good. I thought it was like one of the more pretty like what's the word?
Consistent.
Yeah, consistent franchises.
All of them did well at box office and
Like
got good reviews.
none of
So
them are like bad.
yeah, I want to go back and watch them, but I want to just watch all the Rockies from the beginning, just so I could better understand the full story.
Yeah, I should have
So
watched the
yeah,
Rocky
but
stuff.
if
I
you,
never.
I know, I like it's kind of sad to say, but like I just watched the first Rocky for the first time,
I
like
mean,
the
I've
other day.
watched them before, but like I've never.
Yeah, but we were young when we've seen them. I feel like we've seen
Yeah,
them in bits and pieces, like as kids, but that's like a classic dad movie to love.
yeah.
Like a lot of dads will
A
love
lot of dads
Rocky.
show their kids that movie.
Yeah. Um,
Would you rate it overall?
like I said, it's a good movie. but I had so many high expectations going in, and a lot of it disappointed me. Mainly with the characterization of Dame. That's really what took me out of it a lot. So I gave
Yeah.
it a 3.5 stars, 7 out of 10. Still very solid movie, and as of right now, it's probably in like my top three of the year so far.
Yeah, I agree. I also give it a 3.5. I mean, I thought from the director's side, it was fantastic, but all my issues were with just the plot and some of the story decisions with Dame. I really didn't agree with, but overall, pretty good. 3.5. I think it's number two for this year for me. Number one, I still have Cocaine Bear.
Yeah, I still have to see that one. But yeah, and if you guys want to like see our rankings for the year, just in our Instagram bio, you could link to our letterboxes, and we
Yeah,
have lists on there that have our rankings. But anyways, yeah, solid film, and the year so far is off to a pretty decent start, I would say.
yeah. I wouldn't say as strong as last year though.
By this time last year, though, what had come out? Like,
Batman
oh yeah, that's true. Wait, when did Batman come out?
in like first week of March.
Oh,
Everything Everywhere came out,
yeah.
right?
Maybe.
In
I don't know.
February, I think
This was a
so.
year ago. I barely remember. But whatever. Let's move on because now we have to talk about Scream 6, which was one of I don't know if you guys remember what the episode where we talked about our most anticipated of the year. This was in like my top 3, I think, of most anticipated films of the
Yeah.
year. And I'm a bit disappointed. I hate to say it. I know this is getting some raving reviews of how great it is. Oh, it's the best one since the original. It's the best one since this and that. It has a 3.9 on Letterboxd, and people seem to love it, but it just didn't hit for me for some reason.
I
I
mean,
don't know what.
you're a way bigger Scream fan than I am. So, like, what did you think of this as a hardcore fan, as opposed to I feel like it's gonna be a little different than what I think is like more of like a casual fan.
So I just want to, before I say anything about the movie, I'm just first of all, I'm saying spoiler warning. If you don't want to know who the killers are, just
Yeah, yeah.
skip this part. But I want to preface my review by saying that when I saw this, my theater experience was not the best. I went with a bunch of my buddies. There was like 6 or 7 of us, and none of them are really like into movies as much as I am. So we're acting like idiots, like making comments every 5 seconds. But whatever, I don't care. And we were also like drinking beforehand, so I was a little bit. I wasn't like hammered or anything, but I wasn't fully like hyper aware of what was going on in the film. Aside from that, the screening was at 10 o'clock in the Bronx, and for some reason, some family decided to bring their baby with them. I'm talking like 10 p.m. The movie got out at like
That
12:30.
I don't know that I just that I
Why would
don't
you bring your baby to Scream to begin with? Second of all, the movie starts at 10. So like something crazy would happen in the movie, and then you just hear like, wah, like completely took me out of the movie. There's literally a baby crying every 5 seconds.
yeah.
So I was just like in the movie theater, I was not really focused on what was happening. Like I still obviously recall like the whole movie, but I think I want to rewatch it in a better setting. And that's some of the downsides of going to a theater. But anyways, I'm just rambling about this now. But I just I don't think that this holds a candle to either the original or the one that came out last year.
See, I disagree. I think that it's just on par with 4 and the original. I think they're all pretty consistently the same. If anything, I think the newer ones are better.
Well, this one took a lot of liberties. It did a lot of
This one was it
things.
was definitely the most unique of the franchise.
Well, for starters, we get the opening kill, and as soon as Ghostface kills his victim, he takes off his mask right away. You see who it
Yeah.
is immediately.
I knew something was up when he called, and it was I recognized the actor's voice. It's the guy who plays
Flash Thompson.
Flash Thompson in Spider-Man, the Spider-Man franchise. So I knew like something was up. I was like, maybe I was like, did they really just like show the Ghostface voice, I was like, I know it's him. Like, why did they do that? I was like, this is stupid. I was like, kind of annoyed. And then
Yeah.
they revealed it was him, and then I was like, what the? I was confused even more. I did like that they made it a little different, and I
Yeah.
liked how when he does get killed, he says, make what did he say? Like, make sure you something finish. And
Wait.
then
Oh,
he says like, make sure you finish the movie. And Ghostface like is who gives a fuck about the movie, and then kills
oh
him.
yeah, yeah. That was a
That's
pretty.
what that
That
was
was like
funny.
that
Yeah,
was classic like Scream banter.
yeah. That I really liked.
Like the whole "who gives a fuck about movies?" Like
Yeah,
as we're in the audience sitting there watching a movie. It's like classic Scream stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, no, that was a great opener. That was like one of the better openers in the series, I think. Um,
yeah. I agree.
and I'm trying to think. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, usually the Scream franchise takes place in Woodsboro in California, but this one, the protagonists from Scream 5 pack up and move to New York. Jenna Ortega's character, her name is Tara. She goes to school in the city, and her sister Sam. I don't know if Sam goes to school also, or if she's just living there. I forget. Do you
I think
remember?
Sam's just living there.
So they sort of like go there to get away. But then, of course, Ghostface killings start happening in the city. So it's people trying. It turns out that there's like this cult of people that want to like finish what Richie, who was the killer in the last movie, like what he started. So that's how the Ghostface killer ends up in New York City.
Yeah,
Um, what did you think of Jenna Ortega in this? Because she's a really hot actress right now as well.
I thought she was
And
great.
you thought she was good?
Yeah.
I thought her performance was a bit weaker in this than in the last one. Um,
Um, I
I don't
don't
know.
know.
I mean,
I'm trying to
again,
think about like.
I was a little bit. I wasn't fully hyper analyzing the movie, like I said.
I just
So
feel maybe in this, excuse me. I'd say I probably like her performance in this one a little bit better because I feel like she turns less into more of like the help me girl, and like she kind of fights a little bit, not like fights, but you know what I mean. Like
yeah, no, I know what you're saying. She's not like helpless in
she's
this.
not helpless anymore. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think
Excuse me.
a lot of the film has to do with like trauma and how each of them sort of deal with it.
Yeah,
Sam becomes super paranoid, and then Tara like she just wants to forget about everything and just party, and like she gets too drunk at like a frat party and whatever. So that was interesting. I enjoyed Sam's Melissa Barrera's performance as Sam a lot better than Jenna Ortega's. I thought she was probably her character is my favorite character, I think, in the movie.
so Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think of Sam and Tara's like relationships in the movie? Because they don't really explain anything. You just kind of go into the movie and they just
But
establish like, oh,
their relationship with each other or each of their individual.
no, individual.
So I didn't like the Chad and Tara relationship. I feel like
Yeah, I
that
didn't
was
like that at all.
in the first film. It's not really alluded to at all,
Yeah,
and I mean I get it. Like they're fucking college students. Like you know what's like,
I don't know.
but yeah, I just that was kind of out of nowhere for me. Um, and then Sam's relationship with that guy next door, that was just whatever. Like I didn't think that was anything crazy.
Actually,
It was
like
just
I
like,
liked his character. I thought his character was pretty cool.
yeah,
But
I think it was a little subversion of expectations because usually the whole rule is never trust a love interest in
yeah, but I
Scream.
like how he when he says like don't trust anyone, not even me. I don't know. I like how he kind of pushes Sam.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of thought it was gonna be him for bits of the movie.
Yeah,
Um, get into the reveal though. This I think was the lamest reveal in the entire franchise of who the killers were. I really did not give a fuck about there's three killers in this. First of all, this is the first time they've done that.
Yeah.
There's always usually two, and it turns out that the killers are this detective and his two kids, and the two kids are like they're in the friend group. They're like roommates to Sam and Tara. One of them is, and then one of them is friends with Chad. Um, but it also turns out that this detective, his son, he has another son who is Richie, the killer in the original movie, which I guess makes sense. I don't know if they followed them to New York or if they just happened to live in New York and then Sam and Tara moved there. But there's not enough build up or screen time with these characters in the movie for me to care
For you
about
to
them
care,
enough
yeah.
that when they're revealed, especially the roommate, the girl roommate, like I did not care about her at all.
Even I don't even remember his name. That's how forgettable he is. I kept calling him Spider because that's what he played in Avatar.
Yeah, Jack Champion's character.
Whatever the fuck he like. That's the second he came on screen, I was like, he's 100% one of the kill. Like I don't know why. Like the way he looked, I was like, he's 100% one of the killers. So then I knew right away. And
Yeah,
just
and
like anytime they don't use like he wasn't on screen that much, and they just portray him as kind of like not dumb but like naive. I was like, he's
yeah.
100% one of the killers.
Yeah, the only point where I thought like, wait, it's definitely not him was when he's on the train
Trained, yeah, yeah.
and what's her name? I forget. Mindy. She
She
gets
gets stabbed,
stabbed.
yeah.
Um,
And then I thought it was the detective.
yeah, and then at the end, I also what's it called? I want to talk about Hayden Panettiere coming back.
Is that her name?
She plays Kirby. You haven't seen Scream 4, but she's in Scream 4, and she's like a fan favorite character.
Yeah, I liked her in there. She was cool.
She was good, yeah. I thought she was gonna be the killer at the end.
So did I.
Like with that whole when the
She's
detective
like,
called and he's like,
yeah,
"Oh, she's not in the FBI anymore. She's crazy, whatever." I like
yeah,
that reveal that it wasn't her. But talking about like returning characters, well, I guess not returning characters. I think Nev Campbell's Sidney Prescott was definitely missed in this. I don't know if you feel the
yeah.
same because you haven't
I
like
mean,
watched the other ones.
yeah, for like in terms of like her not being in the movie, I feel like it's weird, but because I'm not attached to the franchise, it really doesn't bother me that much.
Yeah, she is arguably one of like the best final girls of all time,
Yeah,
and she's like my second favorite probably, but behind Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street. But I guess like the way that they explained it, they do bring her up. They don't just completely ignore her absence. Courtney Cox is back as what's her face? I don't know why I'm forgetting her name now. Gail Weathers.
Gail Weathers. Yeah.
Um, and she
Is she?
explains like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
What's her?
Sydney got to have her happy ending
What's
with."
her? Is she dead? They don't say, right?
No, she's alive. At the end, they're like, "Oh, we have a Gail at the hospital. She's in critical condition or whatever, but she's
Oh
stable."
yeah. They said Mount Sinai. It was actually a New York hospital. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, they didn't they filmed this fully in Canada. They never filmed
No,
in New
I
York at
know they
all.
didn't. I saw they built the subway like set piece. I remember like when they finished filming, they posted a picture of it.
Yeah. Yeah, so Gail survives. Um, Everyone survives. There's no stakes. No main characters die at all. Even though, and I want to get into my favorite scene. My favorite scene was when Chad gets. This is the first time this has happened where both Ghostface are on the screen at the same time, and Chad gets like double stabbed
Yeah,
brutally all
that
across
was
his
pretty sick.
chest, and both of the Ghostface like do the thing where they clean their knife at the same time. That scene was sick.
Yeah, I
But
thought that was
then
really cool.
the whole ending happens, and Chad's alive somehow. Like it makes no sense.
And
How did he
then
survive that?
I don't know why this bothered me so much. I don't know if it's because just I'm like a medical person, but she just like sees him and he's like hasn't like a non-rebreather, which is like it's like a pretty strong mask. Like that's like if you're in a non-rebreather, like usually you're not doing pretty good. So like she just like rips off the mask and starts like making out with him. Like I just was like, what the fuck? Like why? Who would do that?
Yeah, I thought that was stupid as well, but I get it. Like that's just for the movie.
And then there was
But
another scene. There was another line actually when Tara's like hanging, and what's his name is trying to stab her, and he's like, "Well, I've always wanted to stick something in you."
oh yeah,
It's
that was
like
fun.
the terrible
that
dialogue.
was
Dude,
stupid. That was kind of funny though.
I thought it was
Um,
just weird. Like I didn't think it was funny at all.
yeah, no, that actually was kind of like out of place a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but I think one of the core four, they should have killed one of them off
Yeah. Or at
because
least one of the
first,
legacy people.
yeah, it would have made. Well, Dewey dies in Scream 5. Scream 6,
No one.
Gail Weathers could have died and probably should have. And then maybe 7, Sydney Prescott comes back for her final thing, and then she gets killed off. Then past then, you have a fully, you have the fully new cast, and that would have made narrative sense. But for
Yeah.
some reason, they were just scared to kill anyone off in this. Like the only people that die are the random friends and like the Ghostface killer.
I feel like what they're gonna do is like seven's gonna be the last one with this group, and then they're gonna do like eight is gonna be like a brand new group of people, and in eight Ghostface is gonna be Sam.
It could. That I think they are setting up for Sam to be a
Whether
killer.
yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be because I feel like it doesn't make sense for her to kill anybody in that group. Like, why would she want to? You know what I mean? Even if she
Yeah.
snapped, quote unquote, like, why would she want to kill them? Like, there's no motive for that.
Or maybe it could be like in 6. I mean, in 7,
Seven,
like everyone dies. Like all of her friends die besides her, and her sister, and like her sister dies also. So then us as the
in eight,
audience,
she would be what?
us in
Then
the
she,
audience thinks like, oh, like she got her happy ending. She survived, even though like everyone else died. Like not her happy ending, but she made it. She finally
yeah,
like defeated Ghostface. Then in 8, if they do an 8, it could be that she's not even like listed on the cast, and like no, like they're just like, oh, we're
there's no.
rebooting,
But
we're doing
then I
whatever.
feel like they're not gonna be able to hide that though.
I don't know. You never know. But then
Yeah,
she could end up being the killer and be like, "Oh, Ghostface did this to like me. It's not fair. I should, whatever,
yeah.
whatever it may be." That would be kind of cool. But
Because you've seen all of them.
mhm.
Which Ghostface has the best motives? Do you think?
um, none of them really have like really strong motives. I kind of like the motives in Scream 5, where it's like, because it's perfect in the Scream franchise. The motives in Scream 5 is that there's these two like movie nerds that like
Yeah,
hate the direction of the Stab friend. So in the in universe in Scream, there's a movie franchise called Stab, which is based off of the events of Scream.
yeah,
So in Scream 5, the two killers, their motive is that the Stab franchise in universe has like gone to shit. So they want to give the writers and directors of the Stab franchise like new source material. So they
yeah,
do and they're like, oh, it's perfect because they go to try to kill Sam because Sam is the daughter of Billy Loomis, and they want to blame it on her and say that she came back and like was Ghostface, like just like her father. So it would be perfect narrative sense.
yeah,
Which, first of all, is just a subversion for the audience because as the audience, you think that that's what the movie would do. You think Sam would be the killer because she's the daughter of the killer.
yeah,
And I think that's just so perfect, like within Scream, like how they structure their stories.
yeah. And like it makes sense narratively for it to be like a movie kind of person
Yeah.
be the
So
killer.
I think that was way better of a narrative, of a reason to want to be the killer. This movie, it's just, oh, you killed my son who was trying to set up the next like Stab movie. So
Yeah,
we're gonna
like
come
it
kill you. Like,
doesn't make sense. Like why
I mean, it
did they
makes
have to?
sense, but it's just not like as strong.
I don't know. I feel like it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I guess yeah. We'll agree to disagree on
Agree.
that.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you have a favorite scene?
yeah, I was saying it was the scene where it was two Ghostface at once, and they were stabbing Chad, even though he
Oh
somehow
yeah, yeah.
survived. How about you?
Honestly, the subway scenes I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I
Or
enjoyed the
like
subway scenes too.
one thing I do love about the Scream franchise is they love to reference other horror franchises. So to them, like they had the Michael Myers mask, the Pinhead mask.
Yeah, that
I
was
think it,
cool to
I
see
think it was
that
like a
stuff.
Leatherface mask or something like that.
Yeah, I also like based on the trailers, I didn't think that they were gonna get separated between cars. So when that happened, I was kind of like, oh shit,
Yeah, yeah.
when Mindy ended up in a different car. Um,
I was like,
that
oh,
was
he's
kind of cool.
definitely Ghostface.
So wait, when the killer gets revealed at the end, I have a question because I don't know if you picked up on this, but from the audience's perspective, their roommate who ends up being one of the killers, she dies in the beginning.
Yeah, yeah.
Does it show her getting stabbed or no? Do you remember?
No, but they just show her wrestling with like the ghost face, like because remember he takes the picture, the boyfriend next door,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and then they throw her out of the room, and she's all like bloody and like she looks dead.
Yeah, and then the
Really,
detective's like, "Oh, I switched out the bodies." That makes no sense. Like they're saying
yeah,
he brought a body up there and switched them out before the police like got there to
yeah,
investigate.
like it does. Yeah,
That
I
makes
mean,
no
there's
sense.
a lot of the Scream stuff they run on a limb. That's like a big thing in that
Yeah, but
franchise
I feel
almost.
like a lot of it is kind of most of it's usually tight knit. And like when you rewatch it, you're like,
No,
okay, this makes sense, this makes sense. But for this, it was just a lot of like little things that you're like, how the fuck does that make sense? And I feel like when you're dealing with three killers this time, it tends to get a bit messy.
yeah, I knew one of them had to do something with like the government for them to get access, like all those like ghost face masks and stuff.
Yeah. That was an aspect I kind of enjoyed, how they were referencing the old movies a lot.
I'm sure, yeah, I mean, I didn't have a problem with it, but I'm sure you appreciated it more.
Yeah. And although they did that, if you think about it, this movie didn't really rely on nostalgia at all. The only nostalgic part was Gail Weathers being there. But she, not that she was irrelevant to the story, but she wasn't like a big part
It's
of it.
pretty independent, yeah.
And I
I
see a
love
lot
that
of
scene
people
where
saying that they love this new cast and they're fully bought in. I'm not bought in quite yet. I
I
still don't
like this
think
cast.
I don't think go ahead, sorry.
I actually think the cast had some pretty good character development. This movie for like for a horror franchise, like especially Tara and Sam, like they actually dive pretty deep into their relationship and about like just them are learning to let her like kind of be on her own a little bit. I don't know. I feel like in horror movies it's hard to see them flesh out relationships like that. So I appreciated it when it was in the movie.
Yeah, I mean it also helps that this is their second movie together, so we get
Yeah,
to see them
yeah.
like a lot. But yeah, I still don't think
What
I don't
else is
think they're as good as the original three as of right now, but we'll see. What are you gonna say?
what else is like the girl Salmon?
Melissa Barrera. I haven't seen her in much. I know she's in a movie this year that's gonna come out with Paul Mescal, who's he was the guy from After Sun, and he's starring in Gladiator 2. They have a movie that's coming out this year. But besides that, I don't think I've seen her in anything else. Oh no, she's in the Heights. That's what it was.
I
She's like
still
the
haven't seen that.
yeah, I've seen that. That's the one that also Leslie Grace is in that who is supposed to be Batgirl.
Yeah.
Yeah, In the Heights was good. She was good
Yeah, I
in
should
that.
watch it.
But yeah, she's relatively unknown. Like Scream is her big break, really.
Yeah.
And they did announce, I was going to talk about it during the news aspect of the podcast, but whatever. They announced Scream 7, or not announced, but it's being reported that Scream 7 is greenlit and it's going to be filming this year. So that means that it'll probably be released next year, which is like the turnaround on these films is crazy.
Yeah. But if you think about it, because they're not really that hard to shoot.
Yeah, and they're relatively cheap.
Yeah.
The most expensive part now is probably going to be like renegotiating the contracts of the actors and
Yeah, I
actresses,
was gonna say probably now, yeah.
especially Jenna Ortega, who's like hot
Yeah.
commodity now in Hollywood. Um,
What did you give this movie overall?
I gave it a 3 star. I think it's solid, but there's just a lot that just didn't work for me. The main two things that didn't work for me being one, not enough stakes, no one dies, and two, the reveal was just so bland. I did not like it at all. But yeah, what about you?
Yeah, I think I mean, I still haven't posted my review, but I'm leaning more towards a 3 than a 3.5. But to me, they're all like really so. You're right. It is the most consistent horror franchise, for better or worse. Like, I feel like there's no dip in quality between the first one and this one.
Yeah,
I
but it's
just feel
just
like the
it's the kind of thing where you have to understand what it is, and you have to either buy into it or not. You know?
yeah, no, I know, and I feel like each movie's job, like getting you to buy in, is like pretty much how good it is.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. There's too much with this movie that just didn't work for me to give it a 3.5. But it's not far behind any of the other ones.
hmm I wonder where they're gonna go with 7.
Yeah, I have no idea. I really don't. Do you think
I
they
wonder
go
if they'll.
back to?
I don't know if they'll stay in New York, but for them to go back there doesn't really make sense. So maybe they'll do it somewhere else. That would be cool.
If you could pick any location,
What would be like a cool city to see this in? Florida, Miami, or something?
nah, that's boring. Like
They could have like poolside kills. That would be kind of cool.
right out of the country,
Ghostface goes to Europe.
something like that. Like
Ghostface in Tokyo.
Tokyo, a
Tokyo
samurai
Ghostface.
sword.
That could be pretty sick. Nah, I don't know. We'll see. I feel like they might stay in New York.
I don't
Because like
know.
if they are gonna leave New York, they're not going back to Woodsboro. That doesn't really make any sense.
No, no. But I feel
Or
like them
maybe
changing the
they'll,
setting each movie is a good idea.
yeah, just to like spice things up. Because even in the originals, they don't change necessarily like where it takes place. But I'm pretty sure Scream 2 is on a college campus, and I think 3 is um on this. It takes place like on the set of a stab movie. I might be mixing up the order there, but one of each. So those are at least new like areas where Ghostface is doing his killings, you know.
Yeah,
But we'll see. Maybe I have a feeling Nev Campbell is gonna come back for 7, but we'll see. Because it doesn't really make sense. Why would she go to have her happy ending in 6 and then come back in 7? Like that doesn't really make sense.
yeah,
It would have made sense if Gail died, because then they would be like, okay, now she's the only one left. So now
yeah.
she knows that like Sam and Tara have no one to help them. So then she would come back. That would make sense. But they're too scared to kill off Gail. So
I
yeah.
agree that like we're far enough. At least me, I'm far enough invested in the newer characters that like once they kill off the legacy ones, even if they killed them off now, I really wouldn't like. I don't know. I'm not invested enough in them. I guess because I haven't watched the other like two, three, four.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, it's them getting killed off would be like pretty big, but I feel like it's a bigger deal for you than me.
hmm No, and I as much as I love them, like you have to kill them off. You have to kill
Yeah,
people
no,
off because
I
then
agree.
like what did Ghostface accomplish in this? He didn't do anything. He didn't
Yeah.
kill anyone. The only person he killed was Mindy's girlfriend.
Would you say this is the weakest Ghostface?
I wouldn't say the weakest because he does, or I don't know who's doing the killings during what times, but the deaths are pretty brutal, like the stabbings.
Yeah.
The amount of like I feel like it's very excessive with how much Ghostface was stabbing their victims, which is why Chad should have died. But
I feel like um the first one was a little more brutal. Like 5 was more brutal than this.
there's more memorable kills, I would say for sure. Like when I forget the character's name, but it's the dude from um 13 Reasons Why when he gets like stabbed in his neck and
Oh,
like the knife like comes out the other end. That was
yeah.
pretty sick. Yeah, there wasn't any like super memorable kills really.
I mean, the shotgun was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool. And like the girl, there was like the girl falling off the ladder and like smashing her head. Like that was
Yeah.
whatever.
What do you think has better kills between the two modern like movies? The Halloween modern ones or the screams?
Let me think. Let me think. I remember Halloween Kills has a lot of really cool kills in it. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I think I would have to go with Halloween, honestly. That's the one bad thing about the Scream franchise, like, is Ghostface never really gets too creative with his kills. It's always just like slashing someone with the
Yeah.
knife.
Actually, yeah, I think the Halloween ones are pretty sick. Especially like he fights the firefighters.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
pretty cool. Um,
Yeah, I'm trying to
he
think
kills
back
someone
at
with like
some
a
of those.
light bulb and shit. Like he has some pretty
Yeah,
cool ones, yeah.
and I get it. Like I know he used the shotgun in this, which is that was pretty
I
cool,
thought
but
that was awesome. I love when they do shit like that.
yeah. And Ghostface has used guns before, so it's not like out of
Yeah, didn't he
character.
use a gun in the original one?
Yeah. And either way, it's different characters anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah. Um yeah, that's really it, I guess. So far in my most anticipated list of the year, there's one disappointment so far. So we're 0 for 1
Yeah.
and we'll see. But
What's
yeah, I
what's the
definitely
next one you're
I'm gonna give this one a rewatch. What'd you
what's the
say was
next one you're most anticipated?
I think it was Evil Dead. So or at
Yeah.
least that's the next one to come out.
Evil Dead or Mario?
I don't think I had Mario on mine. But yeah, Mario looks sick, by the way.
Yeah, dude. The more I'm like that final trailer that they dropped looked like really, really good.
Yeah. But all right. I guess let's move on now to our movie news section. So one thing I quickly wanted to talk about was they're Hellboy again. They already cast someone, so I guess they're moving pretty quick. This guy Jack Kesey or Jack Kesey or something. I don't know if you saw that on Twitter.
Yeah. I've never seen that guy in anything, so I have no idea. Like,
Yeah, neither have I. And I think it's good that they got like a relatively unknown. I think
yeah.
Hellboy has like a shit ton of potential, especially if it's done right. Like that world and his universe
Oh,
seem
100%.
really sick. Like I love the Guillermo del Toro ones. And I
Yeah.
know a lot of people wanted him to do his third movie, but he said like there's no way it's happening.
Isn't was it The Golden Army? The second one?
Yeah.
Isn't like one of the best sequels ever made?
I mean, I wouldn't say that, but I would say it's like very consistent with the first one. Um but yeah, his movies are enjoyable. I love like his creature design is awesome. And I think
Yeah.
that's something that you should dive into with Hellboy is like all the creatures that he interacts with and stuff.
Yeah.
So I didn't see did you see the remake with
I
David Harbour?
haven't. I actually want to see it.
So do I, but I heard it's terrible.
I heard
Like
like David Harbour, like he isn't bad as Hellboy. It's just like the script and plot are really bad.
I think he got like a 9% on Rotten
Yeah.
Tomato,
It
which is
looked I remember the trailers came out. It looked sick. I thought it was gonna be good.
yeah. But and
Did
you
you
could
think
like
like when
Hellboy
it first
to oh what? What'd you say? Sorry.
when the trailers came out, like what did you initially think of it?
I thought it looked sick, yeah, because I like Hellboy a lot as a
Yeah.
character, and seeing David Harbour, who's like a quality actor, getting that role,
Yeah.
and he looked pretty cool. He didn't look bad, but I guess the script and the direction was awful. I don't know.
Yeah.
I will watch it at some point, but I just think it's kind of like weird how this might be like the quickest reboot turnaround in a while. When did that movie come out? Like 3 years ago, and they're already resetting.
I don't what? I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Something quicker might be Spider-Man, I guess, but this is a really quick reboot.
When did that initial one come out?
I want to say 2019.
Who directed it?
I think it's a random.
Uh, was there anyone like significant in it?
Yeah, 2019 it released.
Who else was in it?
Mila Jovovich, she's pretty famous. She's in a lot of like those monster movies in Resident Evil and she's in all the Resident Evil movies. She's in Monster Hunter. She's like known for that type of role.
Uh, wasn't
Um,
she in? Oh yeah, she plays the villain in it, right?
yeah, I'm looking at the cast list. It's honestly not bad. It's pretty decent. Ian McShane. I don't know if you know his name, but you'll know him if you see him. Daniel Day Kim from Lost. Thomas Hayden Church. That's like Sandman.
Right, Ian McShane. Wasn't he in? Oh no, he was in John Wick.
Yeah, he's like that
He was
dude
in
from John
something
Wick.
else. He was in something else I just saw too.
But yeah, I'm optimistic, but cautiously, because we've seen them mess this up before. But apparently, it's gonna be called like Hellboy, the Crooked Man, and it's like based off the story from the
It's
comics.
gonna be like a different take on the character. It's gonna be like more comic accurate, I think. More of like the
Which
gothic horror side.
yeah, which would be really cool.
Yeah, I fuck with that. So the guy Daniel Day Kim,
Yeah,
um, he is playing the live action fuck what's his name?
some from
Fire
One
Lord
Piece.
no, Fire Lord Ozai
Oh, okay.
from Avatar.
I'm sure he'll be better than that dude in the Last Airbender
Yeah.
that we watched.
Apparently he's like Jack like he's in Hawaii 5 he plays like a detective and he's like jacked apparently, so
Yeah, I like him because I used to watch Lost when I was younger, and he was like one of the main characters on
uh,
it.
yeah, I'm sure
Um,
he'll be fine in it.
but yeah, I guess to move on,
Yeah.
some news for some MCU news. Daredevil Born Again is going to start filming soon, and it was confirmed that Jon Bernthal is going to return as the Punisher, which I
Yeah.
feel like this was something that I feel like everyone kind of saw coming, but just to get the confirmation is really cool. I
Yeah.
never watched the Punisher TV show, but I remember him from Daredevil season 2, and it's just like such a perfect casting as Frank Castle. I don't
Yeah, it
know
was
what
too
you
good to pass up. And
did
I
you
think
wa-
it's
did
well,
you watch Punisher or no?
yeah, yeah.
What'd you think of the show?
I loved it.
All right, good.
I haven't
What were you
watched
about
it
to
in
say?
that long. I don't know.
What were you about to say though?
I'm like 90% sure. I saw something like Jessica Jones is gonna be in Daredevil too.
Yeah, and people were kind of getting outraged on Twitter because they're what's it called? The people who played Karen and Foggy aren't going to return for the show.
I heard it's
It
like all scheduling stuff.
Yeah, it didn't say that they were recasting them. It just said that those actors aren't going to return. And I don't see Marvel recasting them.
No.
Like there's really no reason
I know
to.
like they recast Vanessa, but they said that was because of scheduling as well.
I think Marvel knows that if one of like the characters from these shows was like really well loved, if that actor is available, they're gonna keep them. But like
Yeah.
Vanessa, like it's not like the fucking end of the world. Like they're not gonna
Yeah, like I'm
rearrange their
not
schedule to get
yeah,
that actress
exactly.
back as Vanessa. Like if
Mm,
Charlie Cox was like, oh, there's scheduling conflicts, then they would rearrange their schedule for him, you know.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm really excited for the show. I feel like 18 episodes. I just don't know what to expect from it because we haven't had like
There's
a
probably gonna be
Disney Plus
like
show like that.
multiple arcs, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Um, and
Echo,
Daredevil is also appearing in other stuff too. He's gonna be an Echo apparently.
yeah. Echo's gonna be in Daredevil too, I think.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. I hope they just lean into like the show aspect of it and make it like a serial show, not like a movie stretched out over across
Yeah.
episodes, which is how most of the Disney Plus shows
Yeah,
have
Disney
been.
Plus projects have been, yeah, I agree.
Um,
Um,
I wanted to talk. Do you want to talk about like just like the state of the MCU in general right now? Because
yeah,
Ant
I was
Ant
actually gonna
Man
bring this up.
Ant Man's closing in on around 450 mil. It'll be lucky if it gets to 500 million,
Yeah, Puss in Boots is actually gonna end with a higher box office than
which is
Ant-Man.
if you told us that like last year, we would not believe you at all.
If I told
Because
you that like maybe 2 months ago, you probably wouldn't believe me.
yeah, because usually these Marvel movies are just no matter what, they're making a shit
Cash
ton of money.
cows, yeah,
And
yeah.
not that 450 mil is a little amount, but like the budget is 200 million plus advertising, let's just say 400
So
million.
no, yeah, it grows a profit, but like not
Like if you're
significant profit.
spending 400 million to make 50
15
million,
mil, yeah,
it's really not that like crazy, you know?
yeah.
And that's
But
that's
now I feel like this is their wake up call though,
yeah,
because
and
now I feel like they're starting to delay stuff and like they delayed the Marvels, like not they delayed it a while from
yeah, it's
November to
no,
from
it was
July to November.
yeah,
But I'm like fine. I'd rather them delay it and like the
make it
CG looks
better,
like
yeah.
polished and editing is better. I'm fine with it
I
waiting.
think they kind of thought that, you know, like even if it's worse quality, let's just push out as many of these movies as we can a year because people are going to see it and we're going to make money no matter what. But they kind of
Yeah,
just shot themselves in the foot with that and they're realizing
yeah.
that's not a suitable way to make money.
Like
I
right
al-
now, just
what?
I feel like this. I don't know if this is me personally, but I feel like I'm more excited for the upcoming DC properties than the Marvel ones right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a reason to be excited because it's fresh, it's new, it's like
Yeah,
it's the start of something new. It's
and
not
I feel
like
like like the people
before.
behind it are like I don't know. Like I kind of trust who's involved.
Yeah, and not that I don't trust Kevin Feige, but I just feel like he kind of had a
No, no,
lapse in
yeah,
judgment.
no, I agree. But I'm saying for DC, this is the first time they've had like I guess like a stable, like you know what I mean. Like there's like actually like a direction.
Yeah, and I think for Marvel, they kind of had some bad timing with when everything started to collapse because besides Guardians, like their next couple projects, I don't think are gonna have that much excitement. Secret Invasion, the
Yeah.
Marvels.
The Marvels will have like that'll be pretty successful. I feel like a lot of girls I know are actually excited for that.
I mean, Captain Marvel made 1 billion, so you never know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like, what else? What else is coming out from them? What's like their next couple of things? Echo, like
Echo's
who
gonna
gives
get
a fuck
delayed, I
about
think,
that?
too.
I want to see their slate. I'm gonna look it
Yeah,
up.
what's their upcoming slate? I'm gonna look it up too, honestly.
Yeah, hold on. Because if this would have happened like right before Avengers, it's like okay, at least we have Avengers now to you know
Yeah.
now so like people will definitely go see that, so it's whatever. But now you have a couple series that are okay, like these
Okay.
aren't guaranteed hits, you know.
So Secret Invasion.
Loki season 2, that one
Okay,
will
Loki.
probably
Yeah,
be fun.
that'll be good.
Then
Marvels got delayed. Ironheart apparently comes out in the
yeah,
fall, which I
Echo,
mean,
Ironheart, like
Ironheart. I mean, I'm like, I didn't really care for her in Black Panther, but we'll see.
then you have
Apparently,
Agatha.
Sacha Baron Cohen is playing Mephisto, so
Yeah,
I'll probably watch
I
that.
think until Captain America 4 comes out, it's gonna be like rough times for Marvel. Because once Captain America comes out, it's gonna be Captain America 4, then Thunderbolts, then Blade, then Deadpool 3. That's like a big fucking slate, and then Fantastic Four after that.
And then this Spider-Man is gonna be somewhere in there
Yeah,
as
and then you
well.
get the Avengers movies. But up until that point, I think Marvel's gonna be looking a little rocky. So don't be surprised if as like Secret Invasion, the Marvels, all this shit comes out, people start like hopping off the bandwagon.
You
But
think, random question, but you think the DCU Superman movie makes $1 billion?
I'm gonna go with no, but I'm not gonna count it out. The Batman didn't make 1 billion.
It's true, but
Batman
but
versus Superman didn't make 1 billion.
yeah, but
So I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like Superman is just like such a massive IP. Batman is too, but also
Yeah, and not only that, but that movie was fucking amazing too.
yeah,
It's
but
like
you gotta
how
remember
good is
too. People
Superman
don't
gonna
think
have to
about
be?
this too. Um, how long was the Batman?
2.5 hours at least.
Yeah. So
So
think
yeah,
about how
that's
much time that takes up in a theater as
yeah.
opposed to like
They get
a
less screenings, so they
yeah,
sell less tickets. Also,
yeah,
people are they're like, oh, if I'm gonna watch something 2.5 hours, I'll watch it at home when I could pause it
exactly, yeah.
halfway and Yeah, so that's why a lot of times, unless it's like a big ensemble film, I don't think movies should be that long in the superhero genre. I would say like around 2 hours is a good time.
See, but I disagree because look at what we got with the Batman.
That's true. But
You
that
can't
was
like
one of
put
my
that.
issues with the movie was how long it was. I thought it was too
Yeah, but
long.
I feel like no, I feel like it had to be that long. I feel like it didn't drag at all when
I
I
mean,
watched the
it was
movie.
well paced. I wasn't bored, but I
Yeah,
don't think it needed to be 2.5. Like movies that need to be 2.5, in my opinion, is like
ensembles, yes.
big ensembles because you have
I
so
mean,
much
look at
shit and
like
so many
Spider-Man.
characters.
What was Spider-Man: Homecoming? It was like 2.5, right?
I think that was less.
210.
Let me see. I think that has like a surprisingly lower
Short,
runtime than you would think, but I could be
really.
wrong. Wait, 148 minutes. So 2 hours and actually, yeah, you're right, 2.5 hours. I'm wrong.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was less than that. But yeah, but that also kind of was an ensemble because you had to explain a lot. It wasn't actually whatever. I guess it depends. It's a
Yeah.
case by case basis. But yeah, we'll see. I hope Superman makes 1 billion. I hope that f- that James Gunn is successful, so then we'll get a good universe in DC, and it won't just be Marvel. But we'll see.
I mean, I feel like it's had like at least all right. Think about the three directors that look at what were Marvel's first three directors.
John Favreau for Iron Man,
Yeah,
whoever did Incredible Hulk, and then what was next? Thor.
yeah.
Thor was Kenneth Branagh.
All right. So the DCU, whatever like you want to call it, is starting with James Gunn doing Superman, and then this is confirmed too. Mangold is doing Swamp Thing,
Okay.
and then I mean I don't I think it was confirmed a couple days ago. I don't know if it's 100% true, but apparently Ben Affleck is gonna do Brave and the Bold. I don't know
Okay.
if you saw that.
Yeah, but I don't know. That doesn't necessarily get me more excited for it.
I mean, but look at the talent, like just the talent alone.
As if John Favreau is not talented.
No, he is talented, I'm saying. I never said he wasn't.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Because it's going to be James Gunn overseeing everything. So it's really going to, I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. We'll see.
And I still feel like everyone shits on him, but like he really hasn't made a bad comic book project.
No, he hasn't.
Like
I mean,
people
it's just that
like you really think he's gonna make a bad Superman movie? Like at the
I think
worst, it'll
I
be like
think his
okay.
movies are, unless he's controlled by the studio, which he is for Guardians, and those are hyper successful. His movies are very niche. Look at the
I mean,
Suicide
he
Squad.
also isn't the only.
The Suicide Squad was a major failure commercially.
I mean
It
that
made
yeah, but if you think that if it was released like without COVID, like during a regular
I still
thing,
don't think it would make a lot because
I think
it's
it would have
very
made a
niche.
lot.
He has like a particular audience that he targets.
I
But
feel like
when
it
the
still wouldn't.
studio has control like Marvel, then those movies do
But I
better.
feel like the Suicide Squad, like those characters are supposed to be niche.
That's true.
Like
But
that's the whole point. That's why he did those characters. But
we'll see.
Superman is different. Like he still can do emotional scenes though. It's not like he can't portray. Like
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if you're a studio and you want someone to control everything, you're not gonna pick someone who does like usually only a certain type of film. You know. I
I
guess
mean,
we'll see.
he's also produced on like Infinity War and
Yeah,
Endgame.
I'll hold my judgment though. I'll hold my judgment. But I want to move on though. Um,
All right, say what you will. But do you think you'd rather him or Zack Snyder running like a DC?
I would rather him.
Yeah,
But yeah. Anyways, there's a couple other things I wanted to quickly
yeah.
talk about. Let's see. Random Jenna Ortega supposedly is being eyed for a role in Beetlejuice
Those
2
two, yeah.
to play Lydia Dietz's daughter. And talk about typecasting here. That's basically Wednesday.
Yeah.
What do you
I mean,
think
we'll
about?
see how
I
they
mean,
portray her daughter in the movie. I mean, she could be, but I'm assuming it's going to be like that Wednesday type of.
do you think she's sort of putting herself in a box if she takes this role?
No,
You don't think so?
no.
You
I
think
still
she's?
like. I think she's talented enough where like she wants to do. She probably enjoys these types of roles. That's why she wants to do this stuff.
Yeah, I found it interesting. She's actually going to be an executive producer on
Yeah,
Wednesday
Wednesdays.
season 2.
And she said like I haven't watched Wednesday, but apparently a big issue with the show is that she's in like a love triangle.
Hmm.
And she said that in this season that they're gonna focus more on just like her like kill not kill I don't know. They said they're gonna focus more on the horror, which
Yeah,
a lot of the fans were happy about.
yeah. I guess it doesn't really make sense for her character to be in a love triangle. I guess
Yeah.
because she's
I don't
supposed
know
to be
like
like
the lore behind.
I don't know the Wednesday lore,
Yeah.
but maybe we could ask Alexandra. She watched it, I
She
think.
probably
So,
knows.
but yeah, that's very interesting. I find it like really, I don't know if impressive is the word, that she cares so much about what she works on to the point where she wants to affect the story and like be a producer instead of just collecting a check.
I mean for this one, I
That's a
mean
very good quality
she's
to
the
have.
face of but you gotta remember too, she's the face of this project,
Yeah, that's true.
for better or worse. So if I was in it, I hope it'd be good, you know.
Hmm.
If I'm like a side character in like a shitty movie, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I just think a lot of actors will just be like, all right, like I'll take my check and I don't give a fuck. But I
Yeah.
like that she cares about what she's doing, you know?
Well, yeah, I feel like when you're comfortable enough and especially if you have if you have success early,
Yeah, she's
you know,
very young
you
still.
could pick what like projects you want to do and like, you know,
Mhm.
it's not like you have to just like take every project you get.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's really it for her. Um, I wanted to quickly, before we move on to Killer Clowns, I wanted to touch on two series that are out right now, both starring Pedro Pascal. Have you watched The Mandalorian season 3 at all, or no?
Yeah. I think
Oh
I'm
yeah,
what are we 2 episodes in?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm up to date then.
What do you think so far? I really enjoyed the first episode. I didn't like the second as much. What about you?
Yeah, I like the first one better. I mean, the second
I
one's just more like setting up the story of the movie, you know.
yeah, I love like the character of the Mandalorian, and I love Baby Yoda or Grogu, I
Yeah.
should say. Um, but I will say that it is kind of confusing for people. Like Dad was watching it the other day, and um, he was like, "Wait, how did like Grogu get back? Didn't Luke Skywalker take him?" And I had to remind him how in the Book of Boba Fett, the other show, they reunite Grogu and Din Djarin,
Which I still think is stupid.
which yeah, because then
I
you
would
end
have
season
rather
2, Luke takes Grogu, and then season 3 starts, and he's just back. So it
yeah,
doesn't really, for like a casual person who doesn't watch like the extended stuff, I feel like that's too big of a plot point to not have that happen in the actual show.
yeah. Did you see apparently like it takes place over like 4 years or something like that that
What
he
does?
spends with Luke Skywalker.
4 years?
Yeah, I forgot the quote. John Favreau said like it's something like you wouldn't expect. I gotta look it up.
Also, like, you know how he like jumps around and shit?
Yeah,
That he only learns how to do that in the Book of Boba Fett. So imagine you watch season 2 of Mandalorian. All Baby Yoda could do is just like waddle around. Then in the first episode of season 3, he does like a fucking backflip out of the cockpit of the thing and like jumps into his arm. You'd be like, what the fuck?
yeah, and he has a new ship in this. You will.
Wait, does he get that ship in Book of Boba Fett? I forget.
I feel like no, I don't think he does.
That was in the Mandalorian, I think, because remember, his
Yeah,
ship gets blown up.
yeah,
But yeah, it's just like I feel like it was a little sloppy the way that they handled that. I
yeah,
think
definitely.
they wanted to somehow put Grogu in Book of Boba Fett, so
Yeah,
they just did it like that. Um, but yeah, in episode 2, I didn't like Din Djarin being he was the damsel in distress. You know, I want him to be this badass like Mandalorian who could hold his own.
yeah, but I feel like once in a while. I don't mind him getting rescued like once. It's like the first time I've ever seen him like
Yeah, but
draft racing.
like when he gets to Mandalore and he lands there, and those like bandits attack him, he can like
Yeah.
barely fight them off. He's getting like knocked over and shit, and like he's having like such a hard time. And then later on, when Bo-Katan gets there, she just easily violates them without even like anything. So it just makes Din feel like so weak. Like I want him to be this badass character, but I guess I don't know if it serves the story better for him to not be as strong as
I mean, I think they're
Bo-Katan, but
trying to set up like Bo-Katan as like the true, like she's gonna be the person that like deserves the dark saber the most.
I guess I don't know. I just didn't like that personally. Um,
Yeah.
I forget. Does Giancarlo Esposito's character die or no?
No, I think he's in this season.
I hope. I just forgot if he died at the end of season 2 or not. But
Nah, he's definitely in this.
yeah, but so far it's off to a solid start. I don't see
Yeah.
like anyone talking about it, and it's barely getting advertised, which is just so like why?
Are people watching it?
I don't think so. We'll see because I watch Grace Randolph. I know I bring her up like every now and then. I know you don't like her, but she does
Yeah.
like movie math at the end of the week, and she says she like shows all the charts for like what people have watched during the week, like how much money things made. And she always like does it's called like the Nielsen charts, and it
Mhm.
shows all like streaming, what people watched on streaming, what movies, what TV shows. So when she comes out with her episode, I'll be able to see like how well it's doing. But I don't think it's doing that well, especially
Yeah.
compared to the last 2 seasons. But if I'm Disney, you know how much people love The Mandalorian. I'm shoving it in everyone's face that season 3 is coming out. I'm putting trailers and posters everywhere. But I just haven't been seeing the advertisements at all. So it's really weird.
I just feel like um, they took so long to come out with season three, like they lost a little bit of thunder.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Which was rumored to be because of onset issues, but I don't know how true
I
that
think
is.
that's bullshit.
I mean, it is weird that they waited this long, but
Yeah. I
whatever.
mean, it could be maybe it's because Pedro Pascal took the Last of Us thing.
Yeah, it's possible. But he doesn't have to be on set like that much because he's in a mask for most of it.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
But whatever. Uh, yeah, so decent start so far. But then the as you were saying, I want to talk about The Last of Us a little bit. Have you watched
But
it
yeah,
or?
um, I've watched like some of it because I want to beat the game first before I finish the movie.
I
I
see.
finish the series.
So the finale comes out tonight. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm up to date on it, and
What do you
typical
think about it?
complaints. I really I like it. I think that it has a lot of potential to be better.
Hmm.
I think there's not nearly enough focus on the zombies in it. There's like barely any zombies at all. There's like one infected maybe per episode. There was one episode that there was like a shit ton of them and it was actually sick. But besides that, like there's just I mean it is very character focused, which is good in its own ways. But I'm
Yeah.
watching a show about zombies. Like show me zombies, you know?
No, I know, but I don't know. I feel like have you played the game or no?
No, I haven't.
It's like a story. It's a character story. It's a
Yeah.
character story inside of a zombie movie. I mean, not a movie, but you know.
Yeah, but like how hard is it just slip in an action scene of like Joel killing some
It's
infected for
not,
a
I
little
mean,
bit,
this
you know?
scenes. I feel like I've seen. I mean, I'm not. You're ahead of me, but I feel like from what I've watched, I feel like there was like a decent amount of scenes.
I mean, I think in my opinion it slows down a lot in terms of that.
Yeah.
There's a couple, but nothing crazy.
I mean, you're ahead of me, so I can't. I can't speak for like.
I will say though, the actress
Yeah.
who plays what's her face?
Wow.
I know the actress name is Bella Ramsey. I forget the name of the girl. Um, but yeah, she's grown on me a little bit.
Who's she play?
She's the main girl. I forgot. I don't know why I'm blanking on her name. Like the girl that's following Joel. Oh, Ellie. Ellie.
Oh, Ellie. Yeah.
Yeah, she's grown on me.
No,
I
I
don't know.
like her. A lot of people. I don't know why a lot of people like. I know she doesn't like look exactly like the girl from the game. Well, I think she's doing a great job.
Yeah. I don't think it's of any fault to her,
No.
but like I don't want to like be mean, but like her face does not look like a normal person's face. Like she has something which it's to the point where like it's kind of distracting to watch.
I
Like
mean I mean, I don't know. I don't
and
think it's
it's of
distracting.
no fault to her, and I think she's great, and I'm not saying that it's hindering my viewing experience at all. But I'm saying I understand like where people are coming from when they say that.
Okay. No, no, I know what you mean. I'm saying, like, I just like,
She like
it
have something, like some sort of like
I'm not
disease.
I don't know.
I feel like I'm being an asshole, but I just don't know. Like, I'm
That could
sorry if
just
I'm
be
being
like
a
that
complete
could just be like her
dick.
facial structure. I don't know.
Yeah. But anyways, I think she's really starting to grow on me. Her performance is great, especially in episode 8.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
you're ahead of me. I don't.
yeah, there's some fucked up shit that happens with her, and I thought she's like pulling her weight, the actress.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not gonna say too much about it yet because I want you to finish it first.
Mhm.
But I guess we can move on to what you recommended last week. You wanna introduce this one?
Killer clowns from outer space.
All right, tell us about it.
So, the simplest way I could put it is, I don't even think as it start off, there's like a couple, and they're like sitting in the woods, and then they see this meteor fly down, and it's a circus, and like inside there are these like clowns, and then like I guess they eat people, and it's like a very 80s like monster type of movie
They put people like in
in cotton
cocoons,
candy, yeah, cotton candy cocoons. It's like
bro.
very creative. The
I
script
actually
is like, well,
I loved it. I actually loved it.
yeah, I like the vibe of the movie. I enjoy the clowns. Anytime they're on screen, I like I really really enjoyed.
I watched it with like a bunch of my friends, and we were like crying, laughing the whole
Yeah,
time. It's so funny, but it is going for horror comedy. It has to be.
yeah,
Like it's not just trying to be a horror. I think it has this charm to it where you could tell the budget is so low that they pretty much just hired people off the fucking streets to star in it because the
yeah,
acting is terrible, but it's like so bad that it's just funny to watch.
yeah,
I thought the clowns, I really enjoyed like how the clowns looked and how they did their costumes. It's all practical.
yeah. All the designs are good. Like their weapons, they're like ships.
I like how goofy it was, like how it plays into the fact that they're clowns so much. Like they shoot popcorn at people and
Yeah,
like they
they
wrap
wrap
people up
people
in
in cotton
in-
candy.
yeah, there's also they have these pies that they throw at people that just like completely melts their skin. Um but in terms of excuse me, in terms of the story, uh like it's fine. It wasn't terrible. Like it's definitely
Yeah,
not the
it's like
worst
it's
like
just
story
like
for
it's exactly what you think it would be. It's like a simple like damsel in distress. That's like
yeah.
the extent of it.
Yeah, they have to save this girl from
Yeah,
like a balloon that she's stuck in.
yeah,
There's a couple weird things though, which is one. So there's I don't know if I don't want to call it a love triangle, but this girl is with this dude and they're like in the woods like making out or whatever, and that's when they see the clown ship land.
yeah,
Then you get introduced to her ex-boyfriend who's a cop. And at first, like the dude who is with her is like not on he's like, "Oh, what is this guy doing here?" But then by the end of the movie, the cop is the one who gets the girl. And like the other guy just doesn't care. It's like really weird how they did
yeah.
that.
It's very like the plot's very strange.
I mean, there's obviously a lot of other things with the plot, like, oh, why would they go in there? Why would they do this? But that's just, classic
Yeah,
horror movie tropes.
yeah.
Um, there's like a ton of scenes that I really enjoyed that were just like little things that were really funny.
Like
Um,
what? Like, which one they think stuck out
Like
the
for
most?
example, like remember when the clowns first are going out on the town and one of them goes like outside the store and sees this gorilla animatronic thing just like moving. So he
Oh
like
yeah, they
mimics
takes it.
it,
Yeah,
which like makes no sense because why is he trying to hide? Like who is he hiding from? He's like
yeah.
trying to make these girls pretend like these he's trying to convince these girls that pass by that he's like a robot. But then after that he just walks into the store and doesn't give a fuck when like
Then
the cashier guy is just like watching him do shit.
and I
That
like
makes
how people act like they're just like regular people. Like then when they walk in the store.
yeah, when the clown like delivers pizza and
Yeah.
she's like or no, he brings the girl chocolates and she's like, "Oh, is this for me?" Doesn't say anything that he's like a 7 foot tall clown.
Or what? Like when he pulls up on like with the bikers, like they'll just like act like he's a regular person.
Yeah, and then he completely punches the guy's head clean off. That I think that was my favorite part, like the montages of them just like going about town,
Yeah.
just
I
like
liked
messing
when
with
they
people.
interacted with like the town people.
Yeah, there was also that one scene where he does like one of the clowns does like the shadow puppets,
Yeah, and he like
and
eats.
then yeah, he eats like the people with the shadows,
Yeah.
which makes no sense, but whatever. And then the cop and the dude like try to go full force with the clown. He just like jumps into orbit. They never really like establish what their powers are or anything.
Yeah. That
Cause
was
like
I want bro, when that scene happened, I was actually crying.
yeah, it's like
I didn't
so
expect
goofy.
him to just jump up.
Yeah, there's a bunch of other scenes like that. There's one where,
Yeah.
like I said, they deliver pizza. Um, there's also another scene that was just like there's a part at the end. You know those two guys who like own the ice cream truck?
Mhm.
Remember when they're going into like the tent and then those two like fall under into like a ball pit?
Yeah.
And then it just shows like these two clowns dressed as women with like fake boobs. And like the two guys get excited. They're like, "Oh, are you like her roommates?" And then it just cuts. Doesn't show what happens. And then later on, when they come back, they have like lipstick marks like all over their face. So like, what happened? Like, did did they just like fuck the clowns?
I
Like,
didn't I flew like I mean, obviously, like, I don't know, I just wasn't like
like what happened during that scene? It never like explains it. Because you would think that the clowns would just use that as a tactic to like kill them.
were there, like, any interviews, like, from the director?
I have no idea. I I'm so curious as to like what went on behind the
Yeah,
scenes in making this. But just like stuff like that, it's just like the story makes no sense.
yeah.
But I liked how another thing I liked was the clown car, that little car that they have, and like 10 of them
Yeah,
come
like, all
out.
of them get out, yeah.
Just like the classic clown stuff. It was pretty funny. Like I remember me and my friends were watching. There's a scene at the beginning where like they first go on the ship, and it just
Yeah.
shows like they remember when they're in the room with all the like cocoons, and
Mhm.
one of the clowns comes in and he like goes to the back, and there's like the popcorn machine. Like it's like there's a bunch of popcorn, and
Yeah.
the clown just starts like pulling levers like back and forth by it. Like what is he doing? Like like what is the clown doing there?
No, I know.
It's just like,
It
but
is
I'm
yeah,
saying
it doesn't make
like I'm
sense.
not faulting the movie for it because I feel like some of it has to be on purpose. Like they're making it
Yeah,
nonsensical
it's
on
supposed to
purpose.
be, like, can't, but, like, to an extent, like, you know.
Yeah. Trying to think of anything else that stood out. I'm like rambling here. Is there any? Can you remember any scenes that you like? Because there's just so many that.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. And, like, I mean, I like when they have that, like, giant monster clown at the end, like, the dinosaur
Yeah.
space clown or whatever it was.
Yeah, and their weakness is like getting shot on their nose,
Yeah.
which also, um, so somehow when that ship explodes at the end when they kill the last clown, the clown car like flies out of the ship, lands perfectly next to the people, and then um, the dude who like killed that clown just hops out and he's like chilling and he's alive, and that's the police officer. But aside from that, those two dudes in the ice cream truck also get out and they're alive
Yeah.
somehow. Even though the scene before, you see the giant clown take that truck, throw it at the wall, and it completely explodes. Like it's not like a little part of the ship explodes. Like the entire ice cream truck was completely engulfed in flames.
Yeah.
It's like how did they survive? I
Yeah.
think they asked them. They're like, "Oh, we hid inside the ice cream machine."
Yeah, they made a comment about like,
They said they like hid in the freezer, which makes no sense because they were like in the front when it hits the wall and
but even
explodes.
so, like
Yeah,
even if they did, what is that? Like the truck exploded.
yeah. But no, that stuff was just funny. Like
Yeah, no.
I'm just pointing it out just to say how funny it was. Like I'm not faulting the movie for that. Um, did you have like a favorite character?
I mean, I forgot the clowns' names.
I don't think it ever said their names.
They
It
do
might
have
have.
names though, right?
I don't know.
They definitely have names.
They must. Yeah, they must. I liked the main dude though. The one that
I just feel like they're like all the characters are like so like forgettable.
yeah, but I thought that the main guy, like his line delivery was so funny and how expressive he was and like he just wasn't a great actor, but it was just funny to watch. Um
Let's
what's
see.
interesting about this movie to me though is how it's making a resurgence like nowadays. They're
Which is
making a
just it's like the aesthetic of it is very like 80s and on the
yeah,
nose.
cuz it came out in 1988. So now what is this like how many this is what? Almost 35 years later now. They're
Yeah.
making a video game
When is that
based on
coming out?
this.
I like that's actually I'm excited for that. Like when is that coming out?
I think it's coming out this year. But it's weird how you see like when this came out, it was a critical and commercial failure. But
And now it's
it's
like
like the definition of a cult classic.
yeah.
Like it comes when it released, it was seen as horrible, made no money, and they were like, dude, like we fucked up. This was terrible. Now
Yeah.
all these years later, there's people that like want to see more of they want to see more of these clowns.
Yeah.
And I was looking into whether they would do a sequel. Apparently they have a script. Like the directors have a script for a sequel. And
Really?
some of those ideas are going to be incorporated into the game, which is
Oh wow.
interesting.
Really? Where'd you see
But
that?
I was looking up online like oh Killer Clown sequel and I was reading some like interviews with the directors. Uh, not watching anything, but there was just like a couple lines that they had said. Um and I would love
That's
to see them like try again with this franchise nowadays.
yeah. I feel
And
like
it's not like they can't. Like they're apparently remaking Leprechaun.
really.
Yeah,
I feel like
so
it had to be on a streaming.
yeah, it would have to be a streaming thing.
They wouldn't be able to release it like theatrically.
But I would say like give them a small budget,
Yeah.
do it the same way, no CGI, just have the clowns look exactly the same and just
Yeah.
do a goofy
Maybe
story again.
make the story a little like make the story a little tighter. Make it make more sense.
Yeah. And I think they could do
Oh
something
yeah,
like
like it
that.
wouldn't be hard to clean up the story.
Yeah. And even remake it if you want. It doesn't have to be a reboot a sequel, I mean.
Yeah, I'm assuming if they do it, they're just gonna like tell their own story.
Yeah. But let me think. I'm trying to I don't know if I have a particular favorite scene. Um
Yeah,
I don't
anytime
know.
the clowns like
Yeah, there's
use their
just
weaponry or anything like that, I really enjoyed.
there's so much with the clowns that
Yeah,
you could there's like so many moments that could be my favorite.
yeah,
But I'll just say like the clowns interacting with the locals. That in general was probably
yeah.
my favorite part.
I agree. I'd have to agree, honestly.
But yeah, I guess we can move on to ratings. I mean, there's not really much like there's not anything to analyze here. Like
Yeah,
it's a fun watch. Like
yeah.
get
That's
drunk
it.
with your buddies and watch it. You'll have a great time.
There's no like substance to it. There's no like
Yeah.
second meanings. It's like it's clowns from outer space.
No, it actually represents like a systemic oppression
Yeah,
in the US. Yeah, it's like really deep.
yeah.
Nah, but there's nothing here. Like there's no hidden meaning. It's just clowns killing people. Lots
Yeah.
of fun. Um, but yeah, just to rate it, I gave it 3.5 stars. 7 out of 10. Really fun. Doesn't offend anyone. Just is stupid. It knows it's stupid, and that's it.
Well, there is to it.
So go ahead. Your turn.
Oh, sorry. I gave it a 3.5 as well. Everything with the clowns was sick, but obviously the story sucks and
Yeah,
the script is bad. But
it is what it is.
yeah, exactly.
All right. So that was a good recommendation. I had
Yeah,
been wanting to watch that for a while, but I just had like no reason to really. Um,
yeah. I feel like it's something like we both would. It's like right up our like alley.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, all right. I guess we'll do our Q&A quick. There's not that many, and then
Yeah.
I'll recommend my movie. Let's see. Okay. First question from at Nick Scamato 13. Who's who's the best comedic actor? It's a good question.
All right,
If you're
sure.
talking about old school, for me it's Jim Carrey back in the day. Love Jim Carrey. Um,
I gotta think of like actors.
I would say the earlier Adam Sandler stuff as well. Not him currently.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I really like I'm probably gonna mispronounce his name, but Kumail Nanjiani, the guy from Eternals,
Oh, oh.
who plays Kingo.
Hmm.
I think he's really funny. Um, I like a lot of the stuff that he's in, but I feel like it's harder nowadays. Also, Taika Waititi as an actor, I think he's really funny in his roles. Jermaine Clement also, two guys from What We Do in the Shadows. I don't
Like
know
I
if
don't know a
anyone.
lot of like comedy.
What about like from when you were younger?
Mm, I don't know. I mean, like I have comedians that I like that are actors.
Like who?
Eric Andre.
Oh yeah, Eric Andre is funny. Do you like Kevin Hart?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, neither do I.
not really.
Just
Yeah,
curious. Yeah, I feel like especially nowadays it's really hard to be funny in Hollywood.
yeah.
A lot of these like comedic guys come off as like really corny, like Kevin Hart. Ryan Reynolds, I don't he's like another one like he's got his Deadpool shtick and like that's it. And every movie that he's
I
in,
don't find him like annoying though. Like,
he just like acts like Deadpool in every single movie that he's in.
I mean,
I
yeah,
think
that's
he
like,
seems like a great guy. Like I don't have anything to say against the actor. Like he doesn't get himself into trouble. He just does whatever. But
yeah,
it's just like I don't know. But yeah, for I'll go with Jim Carrey as my number one,
yeah,
and I guess Eric Andre for you.
yeah.
All right, and then we only have one more question.
Damn.
What is your ranking of the Scream movies from at rob.imperato?
I
All
mean,
right,
I've only seen,
yeah, you go first because you've only seen three of them.
I've
So
seen one, four, and I mean one, five, and six, and I'd probably say this this new one. I don't know. It's. I'd probably say five is the best, six is second, and the first one's, in my opinion.
so you said five, six, and one.
Yeah,
Wait, five is the best. Six, damn, one is that low?
yeah. I don't fuck with one.
That's crazy, bro. I don't even know what to say to you. That's actually offensive. But is that Fiona barking?
Yeah,
Whatever. Anyways, I would rank it. The original is my favorite, and it's the best, I
yeah,
think. My second favorite is Scream 5 from last year, which I think like rivals the original in its own ways. It perfectly like takes that formula and modernizes it
yeah. And I
for
feel like it's
today's
a lot
age.
more. It's a little more grounded than the original.
Yeah. Then after that, Scream 4. This is a sleeper. A lot of people don't fuck with this one. It's the one that came out in 2011, so it was like the first sort of reboot.
Yeah.
Love Scream 4. That introduced us to what's her face? Kirby, who appeared in Scream 6.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So she first appears in Scream 4. Second favorite is Scream 2. I mean, not second favorite. What am I at now? Fourth favorite is Scream 2. Um, I haven't seen it in a while, but I feel like it wasn't quite as good as the original, but it's the same cast and the same idea.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I enjoyed it a lot. I think the first kill is like very memorable. Or not, or one of the first kills. Ghostface kills someone in a theater like while they're watching Stab. And it's like his kill and like the theater's cool. I remember there's someone in the bathroom and he stabs the knife like through the stall. And it like goes right through the guy's head, which is pretty cool. And then after that, fifth place, Scream 6. Just didn't
Really?
do it for me. I think if I were to rewatch it, it would probably be a bit higher. But for now,
Yeah,
it's sitting at number 5.
I don't think it's that low.
And then last place was Scream 3, which it's not bad. It's just not great. The story is not that great. I mean, the concept is pretty cool. It takes place, I mentioned it before, but it takes place on the set of a Stab movie. I'm not going to say who the killer is in case you want to watch it one day, Joe. But the reveal of the killer is pretty cool. I just don't think that the story held up as well, and I didn't
Yeah.
enjoy it as much as the others. So, yeah, so my ranking would go 1 as the best, then 5, 4, 2, 6, and 3. But all very solid. Like super solid
Yeah, they're
franchise.
all even for my rankings, like they're all pretty close. They could all be interchangeable, honestly.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for the question, Rob.
Yeah.
And thanks, Nick, for the question also. I forgot to say that. But I guess we'll move on to my recommendation for this week. I'm
Yeah.
going to recommend a very weird movie that I stumbled upon it. I don't know how. I stumbled upon it recently, and I was like, I fucking forgot this movie exists. This is like one of the first movies I watched when I was like getting into movies. Don't ask me why, but it just seemed really weird and fun.
Hmm.
So it's directed by Peter Jackson, who directed Lord of the Rings, that whole trilogy. Great
Okay.
director. Released in 1989, and it's called Meet the Feebles.
Meet the Feebles.
Yeah, like Meet the Feebles.
What's it
And
about?
it basically is the Muppets, except with murder, sex, and drugs. And it's about these like puppet animals that are like getting ready to perform some show. Um, and it's just like what leads up to it, and there's like, all like this corruption going on. There's like a mafia in it, and it's very like body horror esque and just very weird. And I think it'll be fun to talk about. I don't know. You've definitely never heard of it,
Nah, looks really interesting though. This looks like something I would like.
but it's just
Is it like
funny.
horror?
No, let me see what the technical genre is. It says it's a music comedy, but it's like very raunchy,
Yeah.
and it's just I don't know. I wanted to rewatch it, and I wanted
Was it
to.
funny?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I mean, like just imagine like little puppets, but they like there's an outbreak of chlamydia on the set, and they have to like deal with it and shit. And it's not like corny at all. Like it's actually like the body horror stuff in it is kind of disgusting. But I just think it's funny that this guy went on to direct Lord of the Rings after
Yeah.
this. So
This is like a fucking like passion project for him. Like what the
I don't know. And when
did
I
he write
rewatch
it
it,
or shit?
let me check. I don't know. When I rewatch it, I'm gonna look more into. He's the director, producer, and writer. So I don't know. I'm gonna look more into like why he made this and what went on behind the scenes. But Yeah, and I remember the ending is very memorable too. So
And is it like an ending like Sausage Party?
no,
No.
no,
Like
it's not
no,
like
not like in terms of like shock value.
kind of yes, I'll say. So yeah, we'll do that next episode, and we'll also have Shazam comes out this week,
Yeah.
and John Wick 4, I think, is the Friday after that. Shazam, I'm gonna see late because I'm gonna be away this week, but
Yeah. And
I'll
then the
figure
week
it out.
after that is Dungeons and Dragons and Mario, which is fucking
Pretty stacked
Yeah,
too.
we got a lot to look forward to in this coming
Yeah.
year, but I guess that wraps things up. Thanks everyone for listening. Follow us on Instagram, follow our letterbox, all
Ask us
that stuff.
questions.
Ask us some questions for next episode,
Yeah.
and yeah, thanks guys for listening. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you.